1, 2. You hear the clock ticking.
The
Batman.
time is over. We've finally seen the Batman. Like, probably my most anticipated movie
Of all time.
Well, it's definitely one of them, eh? Like, just because it's been delayed so many times and shit like that due to COVID.
Yeah.
And finally, it is here. And Rob Pattinson. Pattinson. Ever since he was cast, like, I've just been fully on board. Like,
yeah.
Harry Potter, probably is my favourite franchise, to be fair.
Twilight's mine.
Twilight's my biggest guilty pleasure franchise, and I say it proudly. I love watching those movies just to ridicule them, and I'm sure...
Bella, where you been, Luca?
Have you ever seen... It's on one of the Twilights, and Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart are doing, like, the DVD commentary, and they're, like, he's just shitting on it.
He hates it, doesn't he?
He hates it, like, more than anyone probably ever.
But we're not here to talk about Twilight. We're here to talk about the Batman. Man, what a film.
It was actually great.
3 hours
Yeah.
of just non-stop. Like, you know how sometimes 3-hour movies have, like, little dead bits in between? I just don't think this movie had any dead bits. I feel like it all contributed to something in the end.
Yeah, it keeps you so captivated, like the mystery element the whole time, where the Riddler, he's now a serial killer leaving these messages after each crime he commits, and Batman's got to deduce the code and work his way around Gotham and through all the criminal organisations to try to figure out, like, what the fuck is actually going on.
Yeah. Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah.
Yeah, spoiler warning right now.
Yeah, so go watch it.
Go watch it first.
It's literally just come out, but who even cares? But, maybe we won't go fully into it just because it is long as, but we'll give like an overview of all our thoughts and everything on it.
Definitely.
So, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with Rob.
Yeah.
I think his performance was awesome. I think he absolutely killed it as Batman. It was just such sick casting.
He was Batman for like 99% of the movie as well, which is something I didn't expect. Like, when they were talking about this movie being a full detective movie, straight up, him and Jim Gordon the entire time working together to do all this mystery solving, like, that shit was... It really is... You haven't seen that side of Batman to that extent in a movie.
I think that's why I was fine with it being all Batman. Everybody knows the backstory of Bruce Wayne, the murdered parents, a bit of corruption, stuff like that. So I think it's always fresh to get a new perspective of Batman, and I really enjoyed the way they went with this one.
Yeah, and he's not really wanting anything to do with being Bruce Wayne. Like he said, I don't care what happens to me, this is my family's legacy, trying to solve all this shit and make Gotham a better place. And... So, yeah, and he's not really, like we've seen before, torn between these two sides of himself. Like, it's almost he's fully committed to being Batman in this one. Yeah,
which, again, I don't have a problem with at all. I think it...
The casting, just the casting overall, I thought was fucking good.
I thought, Zoe Kravitz.
I haven't actually seen her in that many things, but fuck, she was so good, I thought, as
her
Selena
chemistry
Kyle.
With Rob as well. Yeah. I just thought that was off the charts. Old Colin Farrell,
the makeup, you wouldn't even know it's him.
You wouldn't. I think he was brilliant as well.
He wasn't in it that much, but when he was in it, it was like really integral to the story and what they were trying to uncover.
I think they're building him up. I think the next movie will be about him.
Yeah.
Solely as him. I feel like this he was advertised to be more of a villain. But he wasn't really...
I'd say that's just because the Penguin's like a known name.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But then, he's kind of like a second in command, this one, to Carmine Falcone, who I thought was he was good. Yeah. Sector 7, I can't remember his name.
I like how he related back to just everything, and he was the main villain pretty much, in my eyes.
Yeah, and everything that they kind of set up, it all ended up leading to him.
Yeah.
And in kind of new ways that we hadn't seen before, like, as we said, spoilers, he's actually the father of Selena Kyle and was responsible for the murders of the Waynes. And then so her and Batman working together to uncover, like, who he's, like, they don't really know to the extent to which he is almost like the criminal head of Gotham. Like,
he pretty much runs Gotham.
He has all the police and everything working for him, and they... like, don't specifically know that, or that he was she knows that he was the father, but he wasn't aware of the connection that he had to his own parents, and so when it all comes together in the end of the movie, Like, there's actually so much kind of, like, meaning behind it more than he was just some criminal villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And speaking of villains, I guess we can talk about the Riddler next as well.
Who technically was, like, the main villain.
Yeah.
Main Batman villain, we'll say.
He didn't have as much screen time as I was thinking he would. He kind of just popped in every time, was doing vlogs, and had like...
Yeah, the Brandastic.
Had like a
promos.
little... Yeah, he had like a little online community where he was posting shit to his followers about the kills that he was going to do and shit like that.
Just gives off school shooter vibes.
Yeah. And they kind of made parallels. It reminded me a bit of The Dark Knight at the end, where they were...
literally thinking that.
They were on opposite sides of the glass in Arkham Asylum talking to each other, and the Riddler was essentially making the parallels of how they were both orphans and kind of like have gone their separate ways to take over Gotham and kind of expose it for what it really is.
Yeah, and how, like, in his mind, Batman was helping him with all the murders and stuff, and just kind of, like, really showed the deranged mind, I'd say.
Yeah, and that was a really good performance as well. Just like the cast all around was really good.
Who even was the Riddler?
Paul Dano. I think it's Dano or Dano, but he's been in he was in movies like he was in Prisoners. He was in he's been in other shit as well.
Oh yeah, I thought he gave a real good performance.
He kind of always just plays similar characters to that, as far as I've seen, like deranged mental people.
Yeah.
But you know, if it ain't broke,
don't fix it.
And also, a big reveal towards the end of the film, Joker.
Which...
Not Joaquin Phoenix.
No. We need to figure out who that was.
I know exactly who it was.
Is it the guy from the Eternals, Barry someone?
Yeah, his name is Barry something.
Yeah, and he's Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he was in Eternals.
Yeah. It is.
And he is very good. I'll give him that.
I haven't seen him in anything apart from Dunkirk, where he gets pushed down a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
And it had been leaked a while ago that he was going to be playing Joker, like actually quite a while ago. And I was thinking like, I don't really know if that will actually happen. And especially just because this was like the first movie in the new series, I didn't know if they would be introducing Joker into it. And he was in it for like a 2-second scene when Riddler was in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
And they were kind of talking about almost forming like a team. And yeah, this movie does have a lot of setup like towards...
It sets up a whole universe pretty much though.
But it also... like everything it was setting out to do in this movie, it achieves. It's not like it puts everything aside to just set up for more sequels.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, definitely.
All the story in this movie, everything pays off.
I think the 3-hour length helps for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like this movie could have been 2 hours and not set up the rest of the universe, but I think like it just worked perfect as a...
Yeah, and the fact he was Batman the whole time just kept you so invested, I thought, as well. And that like just getting to see Batman actually just fully fuck people up as well. So good.
When he was like dead at the end and did the Bane juice, I fucking love that.
Yeah, when he just pretty much hulks up and just starts fucking this guy up. Yeah.
What was this movie rated?
It was PG-13, and there were, because of the tone of it, and I guess after Joker had came out, it was speculated that it might be R-rated.
I think they could go somewhere with it being R-rated.
Yeah,
like the moment I realised it wasn't was when they didn't show the rat face.
Yeah.
Like I think... But then they still showed like an exploding head. Well, they didn't really show it, they implied it.
I honestly don't think more violence would have made this movie any better.
Oh, no, definitely
worse,
not.
though.
But it was something I noticed.
Because the director, Matt Reeves, said, like, this is exactly the movie he wanted to make. And because there were talks about it being R-rated, but he was like, no, I didn't want it to be R-rated. This is exactly the vision.
I just think it fits perfectly into the category of all good like comic book movies, where it doesn't feel like a comic book movies.
Which is why the Dark Knight movies I thought were so good as well.
Yeah, and like your Spider-Man, this could be like Oscar material. I don't think it'll get blacklisted because it's a comic book film.
It was really good. It really was that good. Just the whole... what this movie was trying to be, which was like the Batman Year One story of him, like they didn't need to show the origins of all his training and his parents getting murdered for the 5 millionth time.
Yeah.
But you could kind of tell along the way, like just little things of like he'd be getting beaten up more than you're used to seeing, and having like it even showed he was actually scared one time of having to jump off a building.
Yeah,
and
that.
And he had like this little flight suit and got absolutely fucked up trying to fly. So just all things like that, and it kind of made him more vulnerable and even more on his side, because like he's obviously extremely intelligent, but as far as like having to fight 10,000 people at once,
and there wasn't much Alfred screen time. This goes back to like the fear kind of thing. Like there wasn't much Alfred screen time, but I feel like you could always feel that connection between him and Alfred. Like I guess because we've had it in previous movies, they didn't explore it as much.
He was he was almost trying to deny it because he was really just not wanting to fucking be Bruce Wayne. Like he just wants to fully be Batman, solving shit. So for the screen time we do see of Alfred, he's kind of just pushing him away the whole time. But then they do have a scene where
Alfred almost dies.
Bruce is like, "Oh, I actually do need you to be with me the whole time," instead of trying to push him away. So going forward, we'll see them together, hopefully more, because Andy Serkis, great actor and great casting as Alfred.
Yeah.
And fuck, I'm glad they didn't kill him off, because there was a little tease there. Oh, that would have just... Because you need that dynamic. You need Alfred and Batman together. And, Commissioner Gordon almost kind of filled this role.
That's what I was just about to say. I feel like they might do that eventually, kill off Alfred and have Commissioner Gordon step... Well, he's not actually a commissioner in this, is it? He's a lieutenant.
Yeah. I don't think they'll kill off Alfred now after teasing it.
No, but I think if this movie goes down a few... It could be something they explore.
Yeah. But, what else?
Man, that pretty much covered this movie, honestly, I thought was perfect.
Yeah, the score as well, the Batman, the Riddler's theme as well was almost like this vocal choir that was going on, and every time he appeared, he was like a horror villain just sneaking out behind people.
I thought he was the Black Mask to begin with, Ewan McGregor.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he would work well in that universe.
But they've kind of just... I don't even know what the fuck's happening with their DCEU.
Yeah. I did get flashbacks of Black Widow.
Nirvana.
Yeah. When the slow guitar played, I was a bit worried. But, man, overall, the score, Ave Maria, is such a beautiful song. I thought it fit perfectly. I just can't really fault this movie.
This was honestly just like the perfect way to start off a franchise, I thought. Just such a good movie, and took its time with everything, and just had a really compelling story and great acting.
Yeah.
And mixed up great action with it. Like, that car chase between the Penguin and Batman, I thought was really good.
Sick. That got me so hyped, the reveal of the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Just the engine revving, and then the elevator scene, which I think they showed in the trailer.
Yeah.
Where it's like him fighting, but in the gunfire, that's the only thing that lights it up. That was just so...
Yeah, and just them having to solve these puzzles and going around, it just felt like an Arkham game or something like that. Like, the actual detective work, I can't even express how much it was just cool to see that on screen.
That's what I was saying on the walk back, though. That is what Batman is to me. He's
the
not
detective.
he's not a superhero.
Yeah.
He's like a vigilante detective crime fighter.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think he works well with Superman.
I definitely think they should just keep this in its own separate thing.
Yeah.
And even though I don't know if they're gonna have Joker in the next movie.
I don't think they will. I think they're gonna have Penguin. I think him taking over, because he was a second villain in this. I think, well, not second man. I think he'll take the reins. And kind of in the wake of the flood, because it's a flood, I think he'll rise as the new power.
I still think he could work pretty well as a secondary villain to someone else, maybe overarching throughout the series. You just have Penguin in each one, kind of
hire his goons out or something.
Yeah, but yeah, I really loved this and how they set it up, and just hurry up and make another one, honestly.
Yeah, but don't rush it at the same time. It
felt like the first part to a really good show.
Yeah. It did give off show vibes, yeah.
In a good way, it worked as a movie, obviously, but you really get the feel that this is
This could have been season 1 of a show.
Yeah, they fit so much into this and made it all work.
And I didn't get bored at all throughout the 3 hours, it was just perfect.
Pattinson was he's so good.
All the performances.
I just was really excited to see how he'd go as Batman, and he was probably better than I even thought he'd be, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, this movie did exceed expectations, I reckon. I didn't think it was going to be consistently
My expectations were so high, but I think it just perfectly, and that's exactly where I wanted it to be.
Tooth was waiting for it to fail.
Yeah.
He was looking at you the whole time.
Yeah.
But you know,
maybe I don't know. The only thing I'm kind of a bit is that Joker.
the Joker,
Like
yeah.
literally, I feel it didn't really need to be there. We've had the Joker so many times, and I'm just not really sure.
I don't reckon they'll use him. I think they'll save him for the third or fourth.
Everyone just loves the Joker so much.
Yeah, but this shows that you don't need him.
There's so many villains.
Yeah, I think they'll explore
Especially how they kind of changed the Riddler to fit like the story
type.
with him being made more of a serial killer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could do anything with anyone really, and just as long as it makes sense, then yeah.
Give me Bane. Give me juiced up Bane again.
I think imagine just Bane in this series of movies. I reckon would be so good.
Yeah, just as like a constant.
Just some massive cunt who just comes around and fucks people up. But yeah, this movie was great.
Go
was
watch
so
it.
Good.
Could not recommend it more. It's probably going to be movie of the year.
Yeah, honestly.
What else have we had? Oh, Spider-Man was this year, wasn't it?
No, that was last year.
Was it?
It was December.
Oh, obviously.
But we got Strange. That's the only really big movie I can think to rival this.
I don't think it'll rival it in terms of quality. I think it'll rival it in terms of
fan service. Yeah, that's the thing I was thinking as well. That's kind of all Marvel even really has going for it, I feel, at the moment, is like, oh yeah, we're going to bring back old characters to get you excited, whereas DC, especially here, have made more of like an actual film.
They should just start everything fresh.
Yeah.
But keep like Jason Momoa.
If you want.
Or bring in Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Fuck, I've been off Wonder Woman.
They are bringing in Dwayne, actually.
I don't give a shit about that, to be honest.
No, neither.
But yeah, that brings us to the end of the review. Go watch this movie. Could not recommend it more.
Yep.
Come back and let us know in the comments what you thought of it. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Pattinson.
Penguin Patterson. That works.